Hi there, you found Queen V Crafts, my channel all about my crafting life. My name is Eve, my pronouns are she, her, and this is Flosstube episode number 15. Today is July 21st, 2024, and I am super excited to talk about cross-stitch with you today. If you're unfamiliar, a Flosstube channel is where individuals or groups talk about their fiber arts. For me, that's cross-stitch. I am trying to learn how to crochet and get back into knitting, so you might see a little bit of that on this channel. And then I do occasionally do diamond painting content as well, but that's a little bit more rare. So today we are going to go over my cross-stitch stuff for the past 2 weeks. There's not as much as usual, and I will touch on that when I talk about what's been going on in my life. But before we jump into it, I want to do a little quick recap about this past weekend, which was Midsummer Stitch, hosted by Lindy Stitches. I was able to attend both days in the afternoon since I was working in the morning. So I had the opportunity to go to the opening ceremony and did some WIP speed dating, which was a lot of fun. Basically, they had the program set up so that you would get matched with another individual for 5 minutes, and you chat and you talk about what you're working on, and it was a lot of fun to meet new people. I also got to chat with a couple of different Flosstubers. They had spotlight tables for several like duos and trio groups. I hung out with the Hathaway Stitchers, with Cross Stitch the Globe, and with the girlies. So I will link all of their channels down below if you're interested in checking out any of those individuals. And then Saturday night I popped into one of the virtual stitching tables, and oh my goodness, the individuals that were in this table were a hoot. I wish I had written down y'all's names. I know I subscribed on YouTube to a lot of them, so if I remember who belongs to which name, I will definitely link y'all down below. But you know who you are, who were in the Come Style Away With Me group on Saturday night, where we stayed up until like 2 a.m. Eastern time, and it was wonderful. I've never laughed so hard talking with people in my life, so I will be eternally grateful for that experience this past weekend, and thank you for making good memories for me. And big shout out to Steph and Jason and Imogen and Annie and all of the individuals who helped make Midsummer Stitch a huge success, and I am 10,000% excited for the Jingle Ball in December. I most definitely will be attending, so I hope to see a lot of y'all there as well. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I can talk cross-stitch with y'all. I have 2 new starts, and I have some works in progress, and then I'll go over my plans, things that I've bought, which if you are not interested in hanging around for that, I'll bid you adieu, and we can then talk my life and things that I have been reading and watching in the last 2 weeks. So here we go. First new start is a round robin piece for my friend Sarah over at Millennial Fabrics. A bunch of us who are in her Facebook group decided we were going to do a year-long round robin with the piece Rosetta by Ink Circles. I think this piece is beautiful. It's very unique. Each of the circles in this design are completely different from the next, as well as the border, so it doesn't lead to any like boredom when you're stitching it, because it's different all over. So I am still working on this, so it is still in the Q-snap with a thread because I was in the middle of stitching. But this is where I have gotten to on my section for Rosetta. This is 20 count latte, maybe? Let me see, is the tag like easily accessible in here? Da-da-da. Hello, where did I stick the tag? Hold please. Okay, that took a lot of finagling to find where I had stuck the tag in around my Q-snap, and now when I put the clamps back on, of course I like partially covered what I was working on. So let me quickly move this out of the way. So yes, it is 20 count latte by Fiber on a Whim, and I am using a sulky 40 weight, so it is, where's my needle? Oh geez, oh there it is. This was a chaos start to the video. Anyways, sulky 40 weight, it is number 2244, I think. 2241. And since it is 40 weight, it was a little bit too faint when I tried to just stitch with one strand on the 20 count. So I did end up doing 2 strands of the sulky for this project. And I tried to get it so, you know, when I cut the thread I had to pull out quite a bit so that I could match up the colors together on each strand, since this is very highly variegated, and of course now it's in a knot. I'll take care of that later. I think this is beautiful. I have done the entire border. I have now started working on the circle inside. I need to get this done before mid-August. I think I can do it. I hope I can do it. I should be fine. And for right now, my round robin for this project is living in my very special bag from Nesting Seams, who's Jamie Cruz here on YouTube. This really fun Liz McGuire print. There's Rosetta. The next start that I had was one that I had talked about in my last video, where I needed some assistance picking a fabric, and I took both out, put the colors on, really looked at it in a different light, and then based off of what people were saying in the comments as well, I decided to go with Winter Moon by Zweigart. This is Kawaii Cat on 36 count Winter Moon. I'm using the Call for DMC, and I'm stitching, I think, 2/1 on this, sorry, 2/2 on this one, which is not typical for me. Usually I only use 1 strand on 36 count, but again, I think the pattern and the colors definitely warrant the more saturated look of 2 strands. I didn't put up the picture of what this project is going to look like when it's done, so here it is for y'all. And this one, I feel like isn't calling to me as much as I thought it would. Like, I stitched this whole eyeball and then put it away because I was over it, and it might be because I'm using 2 strands, but we'll see. It'll add to my WIP pile. I'm starting a bunch of things this year, and then we'll reassess what I'm feeling next year, when I'm going to try and do minimal starts. So yeah, that is Kawaii Cat. And those are my only new starts. My pile of cable ties that I took off of Rosetta. Let's talk about the things that I've worked on that you have previously seen. So the first thing that I pulled out is my Deadly Aquarium by Lola. Let me move my needle minder over. And this one also is still on the Q-snap because it's one of those things that I'm trying to pull out and get caught up on if I can, because I am like 4 parts behind. So this is where it was the last time that I showed it to y'all, and where I am now. This is 18 count Tangled Up in Blue by Stitchman Darcy, and I'm using the Call for DMC, and I'm stitching 1/1. There's so much black. 310 is popping in this pattern. I knew that it would, but also like you start stitching it and you're like, that's a lot of black. I am considering skipping ahead to the most recent release, which is the Stingrays, where one's jumping out of the water. I think it is just so perfect, and I can't wait to stitch it, so I might just jump to it, but also I'm like trying to go in order if I can. But I've merged everything in Pattern Keeper, so I'm kind of just working all in that same area, like where the anglerfish and the vampire squid and the ghost shark are, just like that whole little cluster there. So yep, that is my Deadly Aquarium. And then I pulled out on Wednesday my 2024 Modern Folk Embroidery style, which I haven't actually pulled out in a while. It just kind of stopped calling to me as much as it was. This one's hard. Again, it's 2 strands on 18 count, which I don't know how I feel about. Like, I love the boldness of the color, but it's also like kind of annoying for me to stitch on. So if I wasn't already so far, I would reconsider, but I have already gotten here. I will pop up maybe down below if I can manage it, where I was the last time that I showed this. And this one is 18 count, very light pewter. And it's stitched with 2 DMC, which are 3847 and 3849. It looks so good. It's just really annoying for me to stitch on. So I kind of fell off there, but this will definitely be priority for my Whopper Wednesday project for the next couple of months. Alright, and I went through a couple of days where I just like couldn't decide on what I wanted to work on. So I think I have like one day last week where I have like 3 of these projects all on the same day, and I only put like 25-30 stitches maybe into each of them. One of those that I pulled out was Summerbird by Heart and Hand. I was here the last time that I showed this to y'all, and I'm here now. This one I am stitching on 36 count platinum with 1 strand over 2 fabric threads, and I am using the Call for Gentle Art, and then I made some other substitutions. I'm using Classic Colorworks Red Currant in here as well. So I don't want to try and take a picture with this one. We'll see if I decide to use that one. Maybe we'll take a picture with the other project that I worked on. Alright, Summerbird, and then I do Forgotten Friday, which is where I pop into my Notion and I look at my last scene tab and pull out whatever hasn't been touched in the longest. And most recently on that list was my Stardew Valley full coverage map. I worked on and completed the Ginger Island addition to the map. So it was here the last time that y'all saw it. I'm not going to show the upper left hand corner because I didn't work on it. But here's the little Ginger Island. And I really love how it looks. How do you take a good picture with fabric like this? This is 16 count, the Easy Grid, pre-gridded Ada. I don't know if it's entirely necessary for this project to be on pre-gridded. I'll show you it in full. So it's really not all that big. And I think I'm gonna keep working the diagonal. We'll see. I might end up doing like my stair step thing again, but do it like how Jessie Marie does her full coverage, and you know, like feather the edges a little bit and then park my threads, because right now these are parked. These are all just waist threads that are waiting to get stitched over, and it really looks messy and it's kind of bothering me. It didn't bother me in the beginning, it bothers me now. So we're gonna change our plan of attack and do something about that next time I pull this one out. Hopefully it won't be as long as it was before. So that is my Stardew Valley map, and the last project that I've pulled out in the last couple of weeks I was working on predominantly through yesterday for Midsummer Stitch, and it is the Pumpkins in the Moon by Handblessings. If I can find a picture, and I'll put up my little cute graphic. If not, here's what that looks like. I am pretty sure these are out of print. I have 4 of the 5, I think, of these Halloween silhouettes. I was here the last time that y'all saw this piece, and this is where I've gotten to. So you can kind of see the background of this piece is done in half stitches and the foreground is done in full cross. And since I'm doing this on 14 count, I'm using 2 strands. And I'm doing, instead of the recommended 1 strand for the background, I am doing 2 strands half cross. And then just using that same thread and like working row by row, and then half, 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 full, 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 half, half, full, full, you know, moving along. And so you can kind of see where the fence posts are starting to come in at the bottom there, which is really fun. And I think I am going to continue to work this one like row by row if I can, until it is no longer possible for me to do that. So that is my Pumpkins in the Moon. "23 minutes at least, unedited." Let's talk about my plans, because that is all of the stitching that I have to show y'all. So I'm recording this on the 21st. My plans for the 24th and the 25th are, like they usually are, to stitch on holiday related WIPs. I meant to check in my Notion to see which is my biggest holiday WIP, because Wednesday is the 24th, so Whopper Wednesday. And then I'll stitch on that one, and then I'll spin my wheel for Thursday, and we'll see what that one pulls. And then Friday, I'm gonna pull out Vanishing Isle by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I haven't actually touched this one since March, so I'm going to work on that. Last plan that I have is kind of haul adjacent. I work at Michael's. If you all are new here, I just started within the last month or so, and I had vouchers and coupons to redeem, so I bought quite a bit of white Ada fabric to attempt dyeing. Bought myself a couple of colors of RIT, and I'm going to try my hand at dyeing some fabric, probably this coming weekend, not today or tomorrow, most likely next Sunday or Monday, which are my days off. So I'll show you all what I picked out in haul if you're interested in hanging around for that. We're going to move into that now, so if you are headed out here, I so appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. I know this was a shorter video from what I usually have, and they probably will be shorter going forward, just because I don't have as much to show. My schedule keeping me busy and not giving me as much time to stitch, but I'm happy to share what I've worked on with y'all. So I will catch y'all next time. If you're headed out, if you are sticking around, I have some goodies to share with y'all. First thing is not something I bought, but something that I was gifted. My friend Kat, who is Wicked Cat Stitch here on YouTube and over on Instagram, she was getting rid of or destashing some of the needle minders that she had made, and she's like, I just want you to pay shipping. She posted them up on her Instagram, and I said, I want this number, this number, this number. Where can I send you my money? And she said, don't do that, please, don't do that. Just, I'll send them to you. So that was so sweet of her. I picked out these 3 minders, and I love them. They're adorable. They are that, like, they almost feel like gibbets for your Crocs, if you know what that feels like. They're like that soft plastic, PVC, kind of that floppy, wiggly. They're really, really nice. They're really, like, they don't have any harsh edges or anything, but they also have a really strong magnet, so these hold your needle really well. She also sent me a couple little stickers, which are really awesome. So thank you, Kat. That was really sweet of you. And I'm excited to stick my Pokemon one on my big old Pokemon WIP. So yeah, that is my little bit of happy mail. And then I also, I'm going to try not to make too much noise with bag in case you have headphones in, because I know that kind of bugs me too. But I bought from Sarah over at Millennial Fabrics. I got the new Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition, and there are already several in here that I want to start. What was one of them that I was like, that one definitely? Oh, it's on the cover. It's this little Quaker sampler that says meow with the black cats. It's so cute. I wonder who the designer is for that one, if I can find it really quick. It is Nancy Whaler or Waller of Faithworks Designs. I love that. Very cute. And that most likely will be the first piece that I stitch out of here. So thank you, Sarah, for getting these in and getting those out to us. Just make sure that there's nothing else in this package. Kind of feels like there is. That I didn't even realize was in here. Hold up. Oh. July thread vault? I thought I already got my July. Oh, interesting. Well, I also got my thread vault clubs in here as well. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was just my magazines. That's exciting. That makes me happy. I will open this up and go through these. So for July Gentle Arts, we have Brandy, which is called for in a ton of things, so this is great. I have several skeins and I'm so happy to have another. Pineapple Sherbet. That's really cool. It's like very faint yellow. You can't even see it on camera. Shutter Green. Ohio Sky. And Sea Spray. So those are really fun and they look super good together. Like, the colors that Sarah's picking for each month, I am like, these are great. And then for Classic Colorworks, we have Lighthouse, Joshua Tree, Tropical Paradise, Morning Glory, and Auntie D. And these ones look really good together too. This palette reminds me of like the beach, the shore. And this is like more the mountains, like, or it reminds me of when me and my family visited Montana and we were driving like kind of on the where it's flat and there's like all this like prairie and it's green and the sun's reflecting and just really beautiful. So those are my thread vaults for July, which I didn't even know were in that bag. So that's fun. Alright, and then I bought almost said I bought needle minders. No. I bought a bunch of really cute enamel pins when I was doing buy in-store pickup, or buy online pickup in store for Michael's, and as I was walking around I saw the cutest pins, so I'm gonna turn these into minders. There's these and these ones and these ones, and I can't get over this dinosaur with the roller skates. So fun. And I have like several, so I'm excited to turn those into minders when I get a chance. Let me reach over, grab my big bag of stuff. Okay, so in my big bag I have, this is 18 count, just white. This is what I plan on dyeing, or attempting to dye. I also got a little piece of 22 count, which I might dye. I might leave white and do a small full coverage on. We'll see. I got liquid RIT dye. And obviously if you have any like suggestions or things that I need to do for fabric dyeing, I know Megan, the Seattle Stitcher, just recently put up a video about how she dyes her Ada, so I might rewatch that and check her process. I bought the dye fixative too. I don't know if I need this. Let me know if I need to use this, or if it's like unnecessary, if it's something that I'm probably not going to wash. Let me know. So I bought Pearl Gray, I bought Royal Blue, and I bought Caramel to either, you know, mix together in some capacity or straight dye something. Then I also got purple. So I have a couple different colors, and I got a big bag of floss. So there are, I'm not going to pull every single skein out, there are 3 projects worth of DMC in this bag. That is my haul. Let me reconfigure some things. We'll talk about life, give you a little question to answer for me in the comments, and then we'll talk TV and books, and I'll send you on your way. So give me a second. Alright, so I think the biggest aspect of my life that's changed recently is that I'm working. I haven't worked in 2 years, give or take. Once I met my now husband, and his Navy career was kind of complicated. When we first met, he was in Connecticut, but getting moved from Connecticut pretty soon. But I did end up moving up there for like 6 months to live with him, and then we moved back down to Virginia, and then he went on deployment, and then he came back, and we like officially moved and got situated down here in Virginia Beach. So I had a job in the interim there when he was on deployment, but it was not like a regularly scheduled job where I was going to individuals' homes and helping them design mostly closets, but other spaces, organizational spaces stuff. And so I really wasn't up on my feet very long. I wasn't moving and grooving and having to remember where a bunch of items were or how things went together or whatever. So going back to work and working in a retail store, which I've never done before, is definitely a huge adjustment. But I wouldn't change it because I am really enjoying working at Michael's. So, and then I did Midsummer Stitch, and that was super fun. I wish that it was all weekend and not just Friday and Saturday, because I could have definitely enjoyed it all day today because I'm off, but I was working Friday and Saturday, so I did get to enjoy it though, so I'm not not dissing on y'all, but I would highly encourage, if y'all do this next year, to make it a full weekend. I know it's a lot of planning and stuff that goes into it, but you know, 6 months apart from the Jingle Ball, that would be great to do another one. And my husband finally got like his recommendation from the VA for payment for separation from the military. So in the near-ish future, we are going to be moving again, which I don't really want to think about because I've already moved like 5 or 6 times in the last 2 years, and it's mostly been like from one place to my parents, from that place back to my parents, from my parents to another place back to my parents. It's like there's too much complexness to moving around with multiple animals who don't get along. So it looks like we're going to be going back to Texas so that he can go to school and get his degree that he originally joined the Navy only for that purpose. So he will be getting his degree and then figuring out what to do for work and whether or not we stay in Texas or move again. The hope is that if we move again, wherever we move to is where we stay, at least for the long term. Who knows if we move again when we're older, but we'll see where the job opportunities for what he's interested in take us. So I will let you all know once I know the timeline of things that might impact my recording schedule and will definitely impact my stitchy time. So wish me luck, send all the good vibes, and I am excited though for this new adventure and finally having him situated, having gotten answers and all of the rigmarole that he's been through in the last like year and a half, 2 years regarding this condition. I'm glad it's finally getting resolved and moving forward. So that's all my life stuff. You want to hear about some books that I've read? The first thing that I have read in the last 2 weeks is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony either Doerr or Doerr. I really enjoy fiction, historical fiction specifically, and this was that. This takes place during the Second World War, predominantly in France. Follows a blind girl and her father who he works at the equivalent of the Natural History Museum in France, and he is tasked with protecting something, and once the Germans invade France, it becomes a whole ordeal, and she has to process what that is and you know, figure out where she fits in with doing her part for the war effort. I gave this 4 stars. If you are interested in the story, however not reading it, it is a Netflix series, I think. So you can watch the show as well and compare it to the book and let me know what you think. The next thing I read, I've said this before, I'm like I wasn't a reader up until like last year, at least for pleasure. Well, I take that back. I read for pleasure when I was much younger, like elementary school, middle school. The fun for it really was taken out of, the fun of it was, you know, taken out once I got to high school, where I was having to read things for class and not enjoying what I was reading. Excuse me. So I'm going back and reading a lot of books that were published like in that span of where I was in high school to within the last like 2 to 3 years. So I picked up 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. This is the cystic fibrosis love story that was turned into a movie with Cole Sprouse, I think. And this book was fine. It was fun. It definitely had its moments where I was like kind of cringing a little bit. So I only gave this book 3 stars. It definitely was readable. I wouldn't read it again. And like I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you read it, but like if you have, like, you know, it's just one of those books that you read, you enjoy, and you move on, sort of. And then the last book that I have finished reading since I last spoke with y'all is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This was similar to me in a lot of ways to 5 Feet Apart. Obviously not the storyline, but like the feeling that I had while reading it. It was like, this is fine. This is like, good. But I wouldn't read it again. It definitely, if you are like triggered by like kind of like OCD tendencies, or not severe self-harm, but in the sense of doing it as a tick, not a tick. I guess it is, yeah, like as a repetitive thing you have to do. It definitely has that aspect in it, so if that is hard for you to read, this might not be the book for you. I did give this one 3 stars as well. It kind of confused me a bit. I was lost at one point. It kind of ended in a weird way. But overall, it was a fine book to read. And it added one more to my read list for 2024. I am currently reading Killers of the Flower Moon by David Gran, so I will give you all a more in-depth recap once I finish it, but I am really excited about one show in particular. Recently I haven't been watching as much television because stitching and working and listening to books and watching Flosstube, which I am woefully behind on. I have like probably 25 videos in my watch later list, and since it was mid-year WIP raid season, a lot of those are in there, so it's like all of those videos are an hour or more long. So I'm trying to work through those, but I watched / binged, because I finished all the way up until the most recent season, Bridgerton. I think I didn't want to watch this originally because it was just so hyped up, and I tend to not like to watch or read things that are like the now and like what everyone else is into. But I should stop thinking that way because this was really good, and it's just kind of, it's one of those things that you're watching and you're like, this is silly and fun and lighthearted, and oh, there's some historical aspects to it, you know, it's just, it's very fun to watch. And so now I have to impatiently wait for the next part to come out. I don't know how y'all do it. How y'all who just watched up until season 2 and then waited and waited and waited for season 3. Send me your tips and tricks for getting over the of waiting. And I think that's everything that I have to chat with y'all today. Let's pick one of my little chat points. What do I want to pick? What's the yellow today? What? I don't like any of these. Let's do the hobbies one. What color is hobbies? It's hard to like pull out the hobbies ones because I'm assuming all y'all who are here cross stitch related. Picking one randomly and seeing what it says. Interesting. Would you rather have to sing in front of a crowd, dance, or give a speech? Personally, I think I'd want to dance in front of a crowd. Or give a speech. I mean, if it's written down and I'm just reading off of something and I don't have to come up with it off the top of my head. No, I'm gonna go with dance. Answer this question down in the comments. Let me know what you would rather do, and we will chat in the comments about that. And I let you go here. I am so happy that you joined me today. If you could subscribe, like the video, and share with your friends, I would super appreciate it. I know it's kind of difficult for us YouTubers wanting to share the love, but if you do all those things, I get recommended to other people, and then I can find new people and recommend them to you, and that's how this community works. We're constantly boosting up other people and showing the love for our favorite hobby. I am really excited for the next couple of weeks. I hope you all have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you next time. Happy stitching.
29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind